I'm Cyril. I'm always at Lady Rhea's call. Doesn't matter if it's cleaning the floors or doing laundry. I just don't feel right unless I'm doing something.
This year's Grand Hero Battle for the Choose Your Legends 7 banner is Cyril. He comes in with his timeskip farm, and Cyril is going to be our first heroic grow Red Archer. He's actually our only non-5-star Red Archer as well, so if you want to do some red ranged physical damage, then Cyril is your guy for now. For stats, Cyril has 46 HP, 42 attack, 44 speed, 35 defense, and 26 resistance. Not only does he have Gen 8 BST, but Cyril is a trainee as well. He will also be the highest BST archer in the game, beating out our armored archers as well. Among the free-to-play infantry archers, Cyril has the highest base speed, but will fall 1 point behind the top with dragon flowers and super boons included. He will have a defense super boon, and his base HP is quite high as well. Cyril has some solid offensive stats, but he can take some hits as well. He will fall into a sort of jack-of-all-trades role and can work with a variety of builds and playstyles. Now, this is further emphasized by his unique bow, the Aptitude arrows. Aptitude is the name of Cyril's personal skill, and it's been the trainee skill for a couple games, increasing growth rates. This 14-mite bow grants another flat +3 speed, 47 speed for Cyril on the field. It then has a bit of a gimmicky condition, but for gameplay purposes, it's essentially free stats. If Cyril has above 25% HP, he gets bonus stats equal to 25% of his level, max of +10 to all stats. Cyril will also deal 20% speed as true damage on hit, including on area effect specials, and finally, he neutralizes all stat penalties during combat. This is, I think, the first time we've had a stat boost based on units level. If you do the math, level 40 is our max level in Fae, 25% of 40 is 10, which is the max stat boost. It's a cute callback to the increased growth rates of trainees, but really it just means free +10 stats for Cyril. He does need to be healthy, but the highest BST archer in the game just got another +10 stats, and he completely ignores debuffs. You can't run him with stat stacking Legendary Robin, but Brave Robin will happily grant Rally Spectrum instead. As for Cyril's true damage, with Aptitude arrows, he will hit 57 speed. That's pretty good. That will be 11 true damage, and that number will only go up as you get more skills. Cyril's not going to do anything super fancy. This is a pretty generalist type weapon. For the rest of his base kit, not the best skill selection. When was the last time we've seen the Vengeance special? Still not good. For his C skill, we have Threat and Speed and Defense 2, -4 speed and defense on foes within 2 spaces. You can get this on Gi, and it's really only used to upgrade to Speed and Defense Menace. The most interesting skill Cyril brings is Sudden Panic 3. For whatever reason, this skill is absurdly rare, only on Fallen Female Corrin and Garrick. Like Versa, if you have higher HP and the foe is next to another foe, you will inflict panic on them. Cyril does have decent base HP, and Sudden Panic honestly isn't that bad for support. The main issue is that it's in the B slot. If you want Cyril to fight, you're probably going to substitute that skill out. Overall, besides Aptitude arrows, not the greatest base kit for Cyril. If you plan to merge Cyril up, the Neutral Nature will give +1 HP attack and speed, perfectly fine if you want to save trade fruits. For super boons, +4 defense would be fun if you're going to go for a bulkier build. At no merges with the bow equipped, Cyril could almost hit 50 defense. As mentioned, Cyril is our only non-5-star Red Archer, so he's all alone for this specific class. We have 6 other heroic grow archers. Obviously, the main standout for merge projects has been young Innis with his fantastic DR-piercing bow of Freya. Jomki also got a pretty respectable refine himself. In terms of offensive stats, Cyril is top dog, even with Dragon Flowers, cheating a little bit because he's a trainee though. He doesn't have the highest defensive res, but Cyril has respectable bulk considering his great base attack and speed. You throw in his unique bow, and you just have a big ball of stats. It's worth noting that since Cyril is a trainee, he has the same BST as Gen 8 infantry units, like Brave Robin. Releasing at the very start of the new BST generation also means he'll have a lot of time to shine if you want to use him for arena score. Now, for demoted infantry archers, we got a little more competition here. We had 3 Gen 7 archers this past year. Dorothy and Etier will outgun Cyril, but his speed is still good, and he has a ton more defensive bulk, 6 more HP, 10 more defense than Dorothy. If you just want pure offense though, Dorothy kinda cracked. With Dragon Flowers, she'll have 5 more attack, and she has a speed super boon, so she is faster as well. Definitely worth keeping an eye on, since we also have some great offensive inheritable bows. It should be mentioned or considered that Cyril is not colorless, so he will have some better and some worse matchups. If you want a colorless jack of all trades archer, Norn is still not bad, less offensive power, but she does have a higher res stat. Her refined bow also grants +8 to all stats, and against range matchups he's going to get more debuffs and neutralize field buffs. She can also get guard and heal 7 HP after combat, not too shabby. For placedown builds though, Cyril is a prime merge project if you're a fan of lots of stats, flexible build options, and units who can work on either phase. He's a red archer, which may be a downside for some, but if you're fine with that, then you can't really go wrong when building Cyril. He kicks off the newest BST generation, he has these extra trainee stats, and his weapon grants essentially a free +10 to all stats. Ignoring stat debuffs will keep Cyril consistent, and he has that 20% speed true damage for a little extra oomph. For units with good speed and a balanced spread of stats, no follow-up is just the best all-around skill. You completely shut down any slower units who rely on follow-up attacks, and Cyril gets to double them as well. I would run the B skill from Lumera if you want a build that can work for either phase. Breaker skills can be an even lower budget alternative. At this point, you can fill in whatever stat boosters you want. Swift Sparrow, attacking speed ideal 3 with 03 self boss. Double Fury fun, although Fury is not really the best because you don't want to go under 25% HP. You could run something like bonus double if you got some buffing teammates, etc, etc. You can mix and match stats, and we have a ton of skills like bonds, form, stances, or solos. If you want to keep sudden panic, the newer squad ace sacred seals grant +5 HP with +3 to 2 stats. Squad ace BS grants attack and speed. The idea is that you panic the enemy's field buffs while Cyril ignores any debuffs on himself. Just more stat advantages for him. Now, you could run Panic Ploy, but we also have Panic Smoke 3 now from Fallen Linus. Those are other ways to employ this tactic while freeing up that B slot. Since Cyril can also work on either phase, you can run other smoke debuffs. You can also add skills like Guard or Flashing Blade to mess with cooldowns. For specials, I would not run Vengeance. Cyril can go with Moonbow, Luna, or even Bonfire if you're going to stack defense. You really can't mess up a budget build. For premium skills, it is just open season for Cyril. Feel free to mix and match any stat variant combos you got. If we want to keep no follow-up, upgrading to the tier 4 version will get us half DR piercing. It's still quite a rare skill though. You could pair that with any strong A skill such as Finish 4, Flash Sparrow, Tech and Speed Hexblade. For C skills, you can run Times Pulse, Oath 4, even Menace debuffs. If you have no follow-up covered, you could run Special Sparrow 4 or Deadeye for their full DR piercing effects. You could also run low B skills to stop enemy field buffs, and any of the CO4 B skills for stats and potential guard. Tempo is also another option. Since Brave Robin can hand out Rally Spectrum, there is a pretty nasty combo for faster range units available now. With Rally Spectrum, Cyril will get -2 cooldown before his first attack. You can pair this with Speed Preempt for ranged advantage. If you were to run Times Pulse 4 or 3, you could now charge Deadeye for that Vantage hit. The only issue being speed checking other offensive nukes is pretty much a toss-up depending on other supports in play. Still, Vantage with pre-charge specials, kind of annoying. For some other setups, if you want damage reduction, Remote Sparrow and or Brash Assault 4 can be used. You could run Guard 4 or Nelsie Disrupt 4. If you're planning on mixed phasing, Speed Smoke 4 can hand out dodge. If you like high HP for whatever reason, the new dual boost A skills can grant guard from that A slot. With a stat stacking archer, you could also go for fun close counter builds. While Aptitude Arrows is a decent weapon, Cyril can definitely swap over to some other options. We have 2 arcane bows and Cyril can run either one. For pure offensive, the dark bow from Alcrest is excellent. You got slaying, offensive no follow-up, and desperation. The best part is that Cyril can take all of Alcrest's top tier skills at the same time. You can get the arcane dark bow, Deadeye, Flash Sparrow, and even Deep Into Smoke 3. It's insane value. To replace Alcrest's B skill, you can run something like low speed and defense for stats, or you could go for tempo to get no guard. As for Riartana's Arcane Nashdrawn bow, this is more like Aptitude Arrows as a mixed phase weapon. It has slaying, a free follow-up attack, and grants a decent sized attack boost if the foe runs the lower cooldown specials, the idea being it could boost more Deadeye damage. This is a weaker player phase weapon, but Cyril gets back some defensive stats and now has 30% damage reduction. I wouldn't be against running it with a no follow-up skill, but you could also stack DR with some tier 4B skills. Last inherent tip I want to discuss is the good old white cap bow. Like any other offensive archer, the potential brave attacks still makes this a decent weapon. Flash Sparrow is a new good pairing for the weapon. Desperation 4 can be spicy if you have no follow-up, since that opens up the potential for instant quad attacks while at full HP. So, should you promote Cyril to 5 stars? He is our very first heroic rail Red Archer and appears at the start of a newer BST generation with trainee bonuses. That may be enticing for arena scoring, but in general, Cyril is a fairly balanced unit. His offensive stats aren't the very best, but they are perfectly serviceable, and he has good amount of defensive bulk, slightly better for physical combat. Cyril's unique bow, the Aptitude arrows, plays into the whole high stat stacking focus. It grants plus 10 to all stats, neutralizes Stiv's debuffs, and Cyril gets some extra true damage as well. It's a simple weapon, doesn't really force Cyril into any specific role. For combat, you may not want to keep Sudden Panic, but it's an insanely rare skill, and it's not horrible if you want that widespread panic effect. Maybe they'll make a tier 4 version one day, you never know. Overall, Cyril should be a fun merge project because you just stack stats on stats on stats. He has decent speed, which you can lean further into, or you could just go for higher defense and res for a bulkier archer. It's not the most common role. As a Red Archer, Cyril will have to interact with the weapon triangle. For some of you, that may be a downside, but maybe you want a red unit and you want ranged damage instead of melee. As an infantry unit, Cyril will have access to many build options at least. You can use him in many different ways depending on what you give him. If you want a more player phase role, the Arcane Dark Bow or the White Cap Bow can fill that need. If you want accelerated specials with % DR, Arcane Nastron could be a great mixed phase weapon. Aptitude arrows is fine to keep and build around, but it's a little plain. It's perfectly fine for a free-to-play unit though. Cyril won't be changing the game or replacing guys like Duo Crom, but if you're looking for an Archer merge project, it's been a little bit since the last heroic rail option. We've had some great demote options for Gen 7, but you gotta actually go summon those merge copies. That's all I got to say about Cyril. I think I'll 5-star one copy for myself because he's a solid unit. Let me know if you're planning to use Cyril seriously and share your build plans because there's just so many possibilities. Maybe some of you mess around with the new Brave Soren or Robin with their support abilities. Cyril would absolutely love Rally Spectrum. It's just more stats and cooldown. Thank you for watching and go beat Cyril's Grand Hero battle. I will see you guys in the next video.